So today we're going to be making one of my all-time favorite Mexican dishes, which is carnitas. I've got a pork shoulder here that I got from Jimbo's up the road, and I'm going to show you how to prepare it, and then how to slow cook it, and then how to roast it up before we serve it on some Napa cabbage leaves. And we're going to do a side of guacamole with that, and a little bit of spicy chipotle mayo to go on top, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. You can really use any cut of pork that you would like. I've chosen a bone-in pork shoulder, also called a Boston butt. It's got nice marbling throughout, which is what you really want. If you use a different cut of meat, you're not going to have the same amount of marbling, and it's not going to come out as tender and as juicy as if you use the pork shoulder. And there's the bone inside as well, which is going to add a lot to the flavor. What we're going to do first is we are going to marinate our pork shoulder for a few hours in the refrigerator in an acid medium. I'm going to use lemons. We've got some beautiful lemons from one of our friends' lemon trees. You can use limes, or in traditional Mexican cooking they often use oranges. So we've got a big stainless steel bowl. We're just going to transfer our pork shoulder into the bowl, and we're going to slice up some lemons and add those to it. You just want to give your lemons a nice roll first. Break up some of the segments inside, and we're just going to slice it in half, and we're just going to squeeze the lemons through our fingers, well, just so that we catch all the pips, so we don't have too many pips going in there. If you get some pips in, it's not the end of the world, because we're just going to be taking the pork out. We're not going to actually be using the marinade once we do the cooking. So I'm going to use 4 lemons here, just to try and get a good coating of the lemon juice all over this pork shoulder. Okay, got all my lemon juice in there. I've actually thrown in all of the lemon pieces. I'm going to fill it up with some filtered water now, just to bring the liquid level up to almost cover the pork shoulder. I'm going to throw in a couple of bay leaves just for some added flavoring. We're actually going to cook with bay leaves as well. This is just for the marinade. I'm going to add in probably about 4 or 5 teaspoons of salt. And a little bit of everyday seasoning. And then I'm going to cover this in foil, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for a few hours, and when we come back I'm going to show you how to cook this guy up. So it's been a few hours. We're ready to put our carnitas into the oven. I'm going to get it out of the fridge where it's been marinating in the lemon and salt and water mixture, and we're going to prepare our spices. We're going to rub it with all these spices, throw in some onions and garlic and bay leaves, a bit of chicken stock, and put it in the oven. Here are the spices that we have to make our rub with. We've got 2 teaspoons of coriander. We've got 1 teaspoon of chipotle. We've got 2 teaspoons of paprika and 2 teaspoons of cumin. We're just going to give those all a little mix. And we're going to get our pork shoulder out of the marinade. We're going to pat it dry, and then we're going to rub it with this. Okay, so now we take out the pork shoulder that's been marinating in the lemon juice. We're just going to pat it dry so that all of the spices can stick to it a lot better. And I'm just going to use a baking tray or a sheet pan, anything like that, and then I'm just going to liberally sprinkle some of this over, and then get in there with my hands and massage it in. You really want to try and get a good covering all over this. This is going to form a crust. It's going to seal in all of the moisture, and we do the same for the other side. And once we've finished doing this, we're going to sear it up in the Dutch oven, and then put it in the regular oven at a low temperature and let it cook for the rest of the day. sure you get on the sides. Bad boy's ready to go in and get seared. I've preheated my oven to 275. I'm going to cook it for around 4 hours or so. If you're cooking it for less, you can raise the temperature up a little bit, but the slower and the longer, the better. So I've also preheated my Dutch oven. We're just going to take this guy and fat side down, we're going to layer him in. I just put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom, just a tiny little bit, just to coat the bottom so it didn't stick, because this guy's going to generate quite a lot of fat. And we're just going to sear them on all sides, turning them over. Now for the veggies, we've got a couple of chili peppers. These are jalapenos, but you can use California or ancho or whatever kind of chilies you can get. Got some garlic, got an onion, and 3 bay leaves. We're just going to chop these guys all up, and once that's finished searing behind me, we're going to throw this in the pan. You don't have to worry about getting the onion too small, because when you're cooking this stuff for that long, it's really going to cook away mostly. It's just to add flavor and to thicken up the juices. There's lots of different ways of making carnitas. I'm just showing you the way that I like best. A lot of the traditional methods, you chop the pork up into small pieces first before you marinate it. I like keeping it whole. I find it keeps the meats a lot juicier, but you can really do it however you want. So we're just going to take 4 cloves of garlic, just going to give them a little smash each. Just give our garlic a rough chop. It's just going to cook away. We're just going to chop up or cut up our peppers or chilies. We're just going to take all the seeds out. We don't want too much spiciness. We just want to get the flavor. Let's make sure you get all the seeds out. And we're just going to layer this on top of the pork shoulder when it's in the oven, and you're going to get that nice smoky chili flavor coming through, adding a little bit of spice to it, but not overpowering the carnitas. So I've just flipped our carnitas. I like using 2 forks. It's the easiest way to get it flipped over. This side's nice and seared. I'm just searing the other side, and then I'm going to flip it onto the ends and sides and try and get a nice sear all the way around. And it's probably about 3-4 minutes on each side, and it's nicely seared. Got it nice and crispy on all the sides. I'm going to dump in the remaining items. We've got our garlic and our onions. We're just going to slide them down the sides. You want to leave the pork shoulder with the fatty side to the top, so that as it cooks, the fat renders out and basically self-bastes itself. Got the bay leaves, we're going to toss those in. We've got our chili peppers, which we're going to layer on top. And I've got 2 cups of chicken broth, homemade chicken broth that we just finished making. And I'm just going to pour that in the sides. I've set the oven to roast, so both the heat from below and above, and I've set the rack right to the lowest rack, second lowest rack, so it's kind of in the middle, equal space below and above it. So set it in the middle, low heat, and we're just going to leave it now for about 4 hours. See you later. 4 hours later, our carnitas is ready to come out of the oven. We're going to take it out, and we are going to transfer it into this roasting pan, and we're going to crisp it up. Let's see how it looks. Whoa, look at that. We're just going to take off all of these chilies. They've served their purpose, we don't need them anymore. And now lifting it out is going to be trickier than getting it in. We're going to try with our forks first, but it's probably going to be so soft that it's going to fall apart. But we're going to try. It looks like we're okay. Well, it's the tricky part. Okay, we can lift it out in one shot. There we go. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to start tearing it apart with our forks. Okay, we've finished shredding the carnitas. Now what we're going to do, we've broken it up into smallish pieces. We're going to put it in underneath the grill in the oven at around 450 degrees for about 15 minutes or so. Let it get nice and crispy. It's super soft on the inside. It's going to get that crispy layer on the outside. All the fat that's left is going to caramelize and give it that nice crispy flavor. We're just going to throw a little bit more salt on at this point. And a little bit of seasoning. Since most of this meat that we got here was on the inside, it wasn't in direct contact with the seasoning. And we're good to go. This goes back in the oven. Top shelf, 450, about 15 minutes. And we should be ready to eat. In the meantime, I'm going to take the juice that was left and I'm going to make up a great pan sauce that we're going to drizzle over some of the carnitas while we eat it. 15 minutes later, we're going to take our carnitas out. Should be nice and crispy and brown now. Look at that. Now that is carnitas. You can see all the fat is rendered off. So I've plated it up two different ways. On this side I've got carnitas with some homemade chipotle mayo on a Napa cabbage leaf. I'll show you how to make the homemade chipotle mayo on another video. And on this side we got a pulled pork sandwich with some of the pan sauce on top instead of barbecue sauce. It looks awesome. That's what Kaylin wants for dinner. Candice and I are having the Napa cabbage tacos, and we are about to chow down. Hope you guys enjoyed this meal as much as we're going to, and catch you next time here on Authentic Human. I'm Gavin Stone. Get me at authentic-human.com or on Twitter at Gavin Stone, and hope you guys enjoy it.